You follow a story from a book you love to the screen, and suddenly the narrative takes a sharp turn. A major event plays out entirely differently, or a character survives when they were supposed to die. It feels like a visceral betrayal. The immediate reflex is to assume the writers got it wrong, that they missed the point of the source material entirely and made a mistake. But what if those massive narrative deviations are rarely accidents? What if they are calculated, strategic choices? To understand a show, we have to view screenwriters as structural engineers. They are actively solving complex problems and navigating massive, invisible hurdles that the audience never sees. Seeing an adaptation through the lens of structural engineering reveals exactly why these stories survive the leap to the screen. The first structural constraint these engineers face is physical: time. A novel has hundreds of pages to let a character sit in silence and process a slow-building psychological conflict. A television show has mere seconds to keep you engaged before you reach for your phone. This abstract flowchart maps out that translation problem. When a slow-moving internal emotion hits the visual medium's bottleneck, it has to be forced outward. It splits into action, conflict, and dialogue. If that internal state isn't externalized, the viewer tunes out. Because of this required externalization, writers must compress some events, stretch out others, or rewrite timelines from scratch to keep the pacing tight. So when a television storyline feels different, it is usually because the original version was mechanically incompatible with visual pacing. Once the mechanics of the medium are solved, writers face a second constraint: the psychology of the consumer. A core book reader brings deep investment and patience to a story. A television audience is broader, more diverse, and often watching casually at the end of a long day. Writers recalibrate character relationships and clarify motivations so that emotional beats land with impact for this wider demographic. This recalibration ensures accessibility and emotional resonance. If the broad audience doesn't feel the weight of a moment, the adaptation fails, regardless of how strictly it adheres to the source text. Then there is the third, most chaotic variable in adaptation: reality. Behind the scenes, productions are derailed by logistical nightmares. Actors quit unexpectedly, budget cuts strip away crucial scenes, or networks slash episode orders mid-season. Writers use these real-world crises as raw material, retrofitting the narrative structure on the fly so the entire project doesn't collapse. Many iconic television moments exist solely because a real-world disaster forced writers to abandon their original plan and invent a better solution. Time, audience, and reality create a central rule of adaptation. A well-crafted show alters surface details specifically to protect the story's soul. The exact sequence of plot events is a vehicle. The true heart of the story, and the one thing writers cannot compromise, is transformation. Even with plot shifts, writers prioritize the internal journey. This transformation is measured by 3 metrics: who changes, why they change, and the ultimate cost. As long as this core remains intact, surface events mutate to survive the new medium. The next time you watch an adaptation, try to move past the immediate frustration of a changed scene. Instead, ask, what structural problem were they trying to solve? This question exposes the invisible architecture behind